All right, so we are about to take off from the back of the meeting house for our traditional Easter morning walk. We have a smaller group than usual this year. That is Taylor. This is Fan. This is Eileen. This is me. And usually we're going to head out towards the trail starting in the Memorial Garden. We go this way through the Memorial Garden and we talk about how it is kind of a blessing to have new life starting with the spring, and how our meeting house is also kind of on property where we have that metaphor of renewal coming back to life, because our meeting house was built on what was both once a city dump for the city of Annapolis and a farm that enjoyed getting the income from having people back their trucks up and dump trash into the low place. But we have brought it back. So there's another feature. Since we are not all together physically at the meeting house, that there could be Easter eggs somewhere to be found as we start on this tour. And if there are any young persons interested in looking for Easter eggs, we want you to keep a sharp eye out, and you can count them and note on your counter. Like right now, the counter should say 2 minutes. If you saw an Easter egg at 2 minutes, you could note that that was where you found one, and see if everyone finds all the Easter eggs that there are as we head down onto the trail. The trail is really in pretty good shape this year, except that there was a lot of wind recently and a tree has come down. Not this stump, but a little further down the trail. You can see a tree has come down that the dogs are just jumping over. And you can see up the other side of the hill there are the steps to where the Unitarians have their nature area, which is part of our church's neighborhood. The nature trail someday could also go up to where the St. John Newman's Catholic Church is. And here we are still going along on the nature trail. And we're not going to go up the steps to the Unitarians, but we're going to turn and follow the stream. And as we are following the stream bed, looking for sticks if you're a dog, or Easter eggs perhaps if you are a young person watching this and participating in this virtual Easter morning trail walk. So the trail, as we said, was once in the middle of a city dump, but as we renewed the property to make it a place for our meeting house, we picked up the trash and initially hauled out old hot water tanks and tires and stuff, and we filled multiple dumpsters and had Belgian draft horses that one of our attenders, Jim Roof, Linda Titsworth, and their family had donated the services of. And then there was a time one summer a few years ago where kids from First Day School got work gloves and bags and picked up a lot of trash and broken glass along this trail, so that now it's really very pretty. A few more branches down from the wind. Another thing that has been done is Bob Berninga and a lot of other friends have been working on improving the trail. This little railroad track that you see here is one that Bob Berninga built going up the hill to the meeting house. That's the roof of the meeting house you see over there, so that we could haul stuff up and down the railroad track. And some of the stuff that was hauled down was used to make a beautiful bridge that Bob designed with leftover woods recycled from his and Elise's back deck. And in the wind and so forth, one of the railings has fallen down into the creek, and we will have to put that back up. But in the meantime, we can just look around and appreciate how pretty the creek bed is. And going over the bridge, looking up the far side. So the dogs are not excited about the bridge. They're more excited about just wading in the creek. They are like knee deep in muddy creek water. Enjoying their own version of the trail. Their version of the trail kind of zigzags back and forth up the hill, down into the creek. But I don't think they have found any Easter eggs yet. This area that we're coming up to is one where there is a artesian spring, well water, that comes bubbling out the side of the hill and joins the creek below. And right here, there's a bulkhead that you will see, which is holding the leaves back. Right now, the leaves have filled in, and right there is where I once saw an orange salamander come out of the spring. And when he saw me, he turned around and went back in to the underground spring in the hillside. And again, trail and the boardwalk is in pretty good shape this year. There's some places where we still need to do some work, like here. It's where a tree came down. And we just basically have chopped it up and left it where it is. At some point we need to do better boardwalk here. And this is what we call the island area. There's another bridge going over the wide part of the creek, and here is our little island in the middle of the creek. If we didn't have this bridge, it would be surrounded on 4 sides by water. And continuing across, we're about to get to the mud crab area. Mud crabs are just what they sound like. They're little crabs like sand crabs, but they live in freshwater, muddy places. And you can tell there is a mud crab because he will dig a little house and leave a mound with the door open on the top. And I think we're just about to get to one of those. Here is a mud crab house. Taylor, there's the mud crab house. You can see the door. You can almost see down the inside of it. Kind of hard with a little video camera like that. And also on the trail here, you can see footprints of deer, of muddy dogs. All right, and we have one spot here where our trail is very muddy. A lot of rain recently, so we're going to not go that way. We're going to go around and follow the creek as it goes meandering around the bottom of the creek bed. This is a mayapple. Let's see if I can get the mayapple that is just coming up. And here is the Jack in the Pulpit just coming up. And the ferns are just starting to come out. Here's another section of our little footbridge. More mayaples there, and Jack in the Pulpit. You can jump over the creek, you don't need a bridge. Or if you can walk through the creek, you don't need a bridge. All right, we're getting to the back end of the trail here. Here's our bridge. And here it's pretty wet because of all the rain. Whoa, swimming dog. Taylor, come on. Some other places where you could use a little footbridge repair. But walking carefully, if you're not a dog, you can avoid getting your feet all wet and muddy. Here are a bunch of little ferns just getting started. Kind of hard to see them. They will get more full and taller later in the spring. And we're coming up to our last footbridge. This is at the end of Du Bois Road. We look up, that is Du Bois Road up there, and there is that flat place on the top is our solar panels. So we're going across the creek. Another time. This culvert is where the water is coming off of Du Bois Road down the hill to join the creek. This is Loose Creek, and if you followed it down that way, you would eventually join the Severn. And we're coming up the hill, heading back towards the meeting house. Up, up. And it's our last set of steps. Call them the Chagall steps because they're sort of tilting this way and that way, like some Chagall paintings we know. And here we are getting back to the solar panels, and I'm going to go walk right up to the solar panels because there is a new feature which I think Bob Berningo added that I had not noticed before. No, don't know if everybody else knows. There is now a sheltered bench where friends can sit under the shade of the solar panels. Probably be very nice in the summertime, and you can look from the bench shaded by the solar panels back out over the hillside and the stream bed. And we are almost done with our tour and our walk. We're gonna end by walking back up to the meeting house, and if this was a regular year, it would be time for our Easter breakfast together. So hopefully everyone can have their own Easter breakfasts with their family at home and have a wonderful day. This is the end of our 2020 Easter Nature Trail walk, and thanks to everyone for watching. Good luck to any young people who are counting the eggs, and we will see you all later. Bye-bye.